Hey, this is the World Advice Channel too. What I want to talk about today is the promised Chinese historian. So when it comes to this video, I'm going to talk about the promised Chinese historian when it comes to the rhetoric he puts out there relating to um this whole division between men and women out there when it comes to relationships. Because a lot of stuff that he puts out for his videos is misinformation and is straight up red pill content. And I'm going to talk about why his opinion on things relating to the specific topic is wrong. So now I mention that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of what exactly is wrong with Chinese historian, is the fact that he tends to ignore the fact that most of the division between men and women when it comes to how good we get along specifically for relationships is actually simply down to bad relationship advice more than it is down to perceived gender roles and this and that and human biology and evolution and all that stuff he tends to get across in his videos. Now let me explain why. Okay, because the truth of the matter is when it comes to this whole division between men and women that's been creeping up nowadays, especially with the likes of people like Andrew Tate and all those red pill content people online and all that type of stuff, that say, it's just this and it's that. And of course, one of the worst things you will always realize you could always do in an argument, especially when it involves a huge group of people on both sides, is always try to say one specific side is to blame. Because usually, in all honesty, you'll always realize it's never exactly one side to blame. It's actually a bit of both sides. And when it comes to this whole perceived women threat thing, it's definitely very false, specifically when you take into consideration both men and women are responsible for this whole issue men and women are having nowadays. Now, let me explain why, okay? Specifically, now that I've put that out there, I'm going to mention why, okay? And when it comes to, of course, like I was saying before, I'm going to explain what I mean by that is simply down to the fact that traditional dating advice and dating roles is really responsible for this specific issue. The reason why is because dating roles really just taught men to, of course, when it comes to relationships, that we have to put up with all this stuff from women. We have to pay everything for them. We have to go out of our way to be super nice to them. We have to go out of our way to not just do those things, but go out of our way to put up with them when they're having a bad day. And all that really did in the end of the day is just really cause a problem where it made it harder for men to obviously kind of catch on. Okay, I don't think this is normal. I think maybe I should start dating another woman because her behavior has not been the greatest, and I don't think this has anything really to do with just her being a female. This has absolutely nothing to do with that, and she's just a bad person, and that's exactly the truth of the matter. And that's what I'm getting at when it comes to dating advice. Okay, and not even just that. The other thing about dating advice that also is responsible for a lot of these issues, which is a classic nice guy argument, women don't like nice guys, they like shitty people, is the fact that dating advice taught men that when you speak to women or you deal with women, you're always supposed to be super friendly to them. But in the end of the day, which human being wants people to be super friendly to them in the first place? Whether it's a relationship like male and female, or in terms of a friendship, when you're hanging around people of the same sex, whether male and males or females and females, like in terms of a friendship, who the fuck wants to be around someone who's just nice 24/7? Let's keep it real. It actually does kind of get a little bit creepy. And it obviously, if you're nice 24/7, it's showing that you're not showing everything that you have to say or is on your mind. So that's the reason why a lot of women have a lot of issues with men in relationships, is that men are always nice 24/7. And of course, it gets boring because it's like, I know everything that there is to know about you, so it's kind of like I'm kind of getting sick of it now. There's nothing there. And that exactly right there, these points I'm making are the reasons why men and women are not getting along in relationships and there's so much issues going on, okay? Well, when it comes to that particular specific situation, whether it's the first example I gave that men have to pay for everything in a relationship, which just made it easier for women to, of course, at least a bad woman, of course, you know, take advantage of that and just simply say, okay, pay for everything for me, so it's harder for you to kind of realize, okay, this woman's kind of a gold digger. Or it could be the second one, which is just simply the fact that, a lot of women, you know, I mean, or anyone for that matter, gets creeped out by the fact that by someone being super nice to them all the time. To the third point of, if a woman's having a bad day, well, just put up with it and this and that, and you know, and just deal with it. You don't have to, you shouldn't take it personally if she's having a bad day, she's taking her frustrations out on you, and so on and so forth. Those dating rules are stupid. And that's exactly what I'm trying to get at here. So when it comes to Chinese historian, of course, we're letting Chinese historian, this message he's putting out there, the truth of the matter is, the message he's putting out there is simply false. Because the truth of the matter is, he talks about all this stuff about, oh, it's human biology and this and that and so on and so forth, traditional generals, and women should, of course, let's keep it real, reading between the lines, the message he's trying to get across, women should know their place and should only be in a specific position and this and that. All that stuff is false and is simply flawed. All those messages and those points are full of plot holes and simply do not take into consideration the fact that people are always going to want more. And obviously, the world we live in is always going to be, especially in modern times, the modern world specifically is what I'm referring to, is always going to have some new pitch to kind of sell to people, especially when it comes to something like politics, to, of course, make it more likely people, of course, are going to want to vote someone in. So having people in the same position and the same role and this and that over time is just asking for problems because there's always going to be someone who wants more. And of course, sometimes a person who wants more is a woman. If we just have them in the same position, it'll just create conflict. And just in general, the main point is that that's just simply not true. Most of the reason why men and women are not getting along in relationships is because we misinterpret each other. And a lot of the reason why we misinterpret each other is because of these stupid dating rules that never really made any sense anyway. That's simply the truth of the matter of it in the end of the day. That's all it is. I can guarantee if these dating rules didn't exist, or at least we realize, yeah, these rules are stupid and outdated, blah, 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 blah. I can guarantee you men and women would not be having the issues that they're having now. Most of these issues are happening because these dating rules taught us, specifically men, to think in a way that actually encourages a lot of us to be taken advantage of and screwed over badly by a woman in general. So the truth of the matter is that's simply the truth of the matter. It has nothing to do with, traditional gender roles, biology and stuff Chinese historian spouts out, as well aside from his weird obsession with black people for some weird reason. I don't know why, but he seems to always like to talk about black people all the time, specifically big black dicks. Let's keep it real. If you watch his videos, he's always talking about BBCs. I don't know why, but aside from the points like I was getting at before, he's always bringing up, you know, the truth of the matter is most of this gender war stuff can just simply be resolved by talking about things, or I should say resolving these issues by using your freaking head instead of just simply teaching men that, oh, we should do this and we should do that when it's not clearly not going to work out. And that's exactly what we're realizing now, and that's why men and women are not getting along. And I'm hearing that men and women, even outside of relationships, don't really interact with each other and don't really talk to each other and so on and so forth outside of course, um you know, when they absolutely have to, when it's just work related. Men and women are not getting along at all nowadays. It's getting really bad now, for that matter, okay? And most of this is just simply down to poor communication. If not all of it, it's on a poor communication, in all honesty. And that's the reason why I feel this is happening right now, in all honesty, to put it bluntly. To be quite honest with you, okay? That's why this shit is happening. It has nothing to do with women, are just bad people or this and that. 50% of the world population is females anyway. Every man in his family has at least one female relative. So what exactly are you getting across here? And that's the kind of the message Chinese historians putting out there. But it's not true. What it really is down to this bad freaking dating standards and societal standards to a certain extent, but mostly bad dating standards that is causing all these divisions in these relationships. It has nothing to do with, this and that and, historical gender roles and all this type of crap. None of that stuff is true. The truth is, it's just down a bad dating advice. And that's what's really causing it. And of course, in the world we live in, it just takes a small percentage of people to cause problems for everyone to start making generalizations, and we have the situation we are in today, with men and women not getting along. Okay, so anyway, this is my video. This is all I have to say. I hope you learned something new. And just remember, if you like my videos, thumbs up and subscribe. And this is all I have to say, and I'm out. Bye.